So good news. Pretty much every implicit differentiation problem you're going to come across as you take differential calculus is going to follow the same steps and the same process. I don't like to say 100%, but if you learn this process, I bet you'd be able to complete 99% or more of the implicit differentiation problems you're going to come across in your calculus class, which is great news, right? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that process is so that you can follow that on all of your implicit differentiation problems, which should make it a lot easier for you to be able to do any implicit differentiation problem you're going to come across. If that sounds good to you, be sure to stick around to the end of the video, and these should be a lot easier for you going forward, because I know implicit differentiation can be one of the tougher topics in Calculus 1, or differential calculus. And this problem that I'm going to be showing you actually did come from one of my weekly live streams, which I typically do every Monday night at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern. So if you do get some value out of this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon down below so you're notified when I'm going live each week, and you can come and get some questions answered live. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the example, and I'll show you the easiest method for implicit differentiation. First of all, we're going to find dy dx by implicit differentiation, and we are given this equation here, x cubed plus y cubed equals 1. So really, when you're doing an implicit differentiation problem, there's one thing that you want to start by looking at, and that is what it tells you to find. In this case, we have dy dx. So the fact that we're finding dy dx, that actually tells us some valuable information just off of that. Whenever you have d something over d something like we have here, whatever is this top letter right here, that's always going to be your function, basically. So wherever you see a y in this equation, we need to treat that as a function. And whenever you see whatever letter is down on bottom, that's what you're going to treat as a variable. So in this case, x, the thing that we have down here on the bottom, is going to be a variable. Okay, so essentially what we need to do is we're going to take the derivative of our variable of both sides of this equation. And as we do that, we need to treat x as a variable and y as a function. Really, all that means is whenever you're taking the derivative of a function with respect to a variable, you want to keep in mind that that function, in this case y, is a function of x. So what that means is like this term right here, for example, and actually, you know what, I'll come back to that a little bit later. First, let's just start with our first step, which is going to be the first step of any implicit differentiation problem. Whatever your variable is, you're going to take the derivative of both sides with respect to that. So in this case, the derivative with respect to x of both sides of our equation. So all you really have to do is kind of break it down term by term. So first of all, this first term here, the derivative of x cubed, since this only has an x in it, it doesn't have any y's in it, it's just x, it's just your variable. When we take the derivative of something with only x's in it with respect to x, it's going to behave exactly the way you would expect. So in this case, x cubed, we can just use the power rule. Power rule says we're just going to bring our power down in front, keep our x as x, and lower the power by 1. So we're just going to have 3x squared for this term right here. Then when we take the derivative of y cubed with respect to x, this is where the kind of one really important implicit differentiation trick has to come into play. And that is whenever you're taking y that has something else being done to it, in this case, it's y cubed, that right there tells you you're going to have to do chain rule because y is a function of x. So really what you should do is think of y cubed is the same as saying some function of x cubed. So if you had some function of x all raised up to the third power, you would have to use chain rule, right? Where you would treat the f of x as your inside function, the cubed piece as your outside function, and you would apply the chain rule from there. So that's what we have to do here too. We have to treat y as some function, and that whole function is being cubed. So when we think about chain rule, we want to think of basically what is our inside function and what is our outside function. Well, like I said, our inside function is going to be y. That's kind of inside this power, basically. And then our outside function is the cubed piece. So the y is the inside function, and then the cubed piece is our outside function. So what that means is chain rule says we take the derivative of the outside, leave the inside alone. So basically, if you have something cubed, you're just going to use power rule. You're going to bring the 3 down in front, leave the inside alone, leave our y as y, and then lower the power by 1. Okay. And then chain rule says the next step is to then multiply that by the derivative of your inside function. Well, whenever you're taking the derivative of your function, your y in this case, with respect to your variable x, you don't really know what the derivative of y is, because we don't really know what y is. That's why we're using implicit differentiation, because we don't have an explicit function for y. If we had an explicit function for y, we probably could just use normal differentiation tactics, power rule, chain rule, product rule, all that kind of stuff. Since we don't have an explicit function for y, it is implicit. It's like implied, basically, of what y has to be in order for this equation to work out. This example specifically, we probably could solve for y, but the idea here is that we are using implicit differentiation to get practice with implicit differentiation. Typically you're not going to be able to explicitly solve for y and get a function for it, which the next couple examples we're going to go into are that way. But the point remains that what we need to do is multiply this by the derivative of y. Since we don't know y, we can't know the derivative of y. So really all we can do is to say the derivative of y is just the derivative of y with respect to x, dy dx. So that's the derivative of this term here. Then we need to also take the derivative of the other side of our equation. The derivative of a constant is just 0. So now that we've taken the derivative of both sides of our equation, now what we need to do is basically move all of our terms with dy dx over to one side of the equation, move all of our terms that don't have dy dx to the other side of the equation, and then that will help us to basically isolate the dy dx. So in this case, we have this term right here that does not have dy dx, this term right here that does. So we can move this term over to the other side by simply minusing 3x squared from both sides. So that's going to cancel this term here, and we're just going to get 3y squared dy dx equals negative 3x squared. And then we can just divide the 3y squared to both sides of the equation, and that'll cancel it on the left. It'll cancel the 3's over here, so we would just be left with dy dx equals negative x squared over y squared. There's no more simplifying, nothing else can cancel here, so that's going to be our final answer in this case. Well, I hope you found this video helpful and you're feeling a lot better about how to solve implicit differentiation problems on your own. I know those can be real tricky, and I know I had a real hard time learning implicit differentiation when I was taking calculus. If you did get some value out of this video and you want to keep crushing it all term long in calculus, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and that bell icon as well so you're notified of all my new videos, and we'll keep on going. And if you want to check out some other videos on implicit differentiation in the meantime, just go ahead and click on one of those over there, and I'll see you next time.